Hi, I'm Mike London. I'm visiting with artists and arts leaders in the Miami Valley. Culture Works supports so many artists and arts organizations, and these interviews are a chance for us to get to know some of them. Today, and I'm really glad you're here, I'm speaking with Eva Buttacavoli. And see, I did it again, old habits. But yeah, I you have a fascinating organization, and you've been going for change. So I'm not going to say a lot about it. I really want you to tell me about you and to tell me about the Contemporary.
Sure. So the Contemporary Dayton, which is our new name, we changed our name just 2 years ago, and for 27 years we were known as the Dayton Visual Arts Center. And we were founded by a group of women, a group of community volunteers and artists. And as a matter of fact, some of those founders also were instrumental in founding Muse Machine. What else? I can't remember what else. 3 or 4 organizations way back in the late 80s and early 90s. But we were created as a nonprofit in 1991 by this group that really wanted to give the stage to local artists for their works to be noticed, for possible sales, possible marketing, and most of all to make a community or to offer a community to local artists. It was a time when there was a disconnect in a way between what was happening at our wonderful large museum and the voices of the local artists want to be heard. So as often happens in many sorts of organizations, they broke away and formed their own. So basically for 27 years, actually 30 years, next year will be our 30th anniversary, we have presented exhibitions, public programs, educational programs. That's my dog barking in the gallery. You may be able to hear. So what that means is we're closed right now.
That's okay. We're live.
We're live.
Yeah. That's okay. It'll happen. We're going to ignore it. I'm listening to you.
Okay. All right. We're going to ignore it because I think she's stopping. So yeah, I'll jump to that. The gallery's empty right now, and some of my staff are here. During COVID times, we've been cleaning and getting some projects done. But I happen to live very close to the gallery, and I bring my dog to the gallery every couple of days. Oh, thank you. Did you? Yeah, it's on the pedestal. Yes.
That's great.
So I am at my work office, and so I get to bring my little dog, and she barks when somebody's at the door. So it's sort of like an alarm.
She's doing her job.
So we have been presenting exhibitions, public and education programs, things like community projects. We administer a lot of murals in the community. We also work with businesses and health organizations to put art in their spaces and promote the idea of local artists. So our mission is to provide art for the community and a community for artists. So although we show national artists, international artists, our focus is on the local artists and engaging the community to the wealth, the talent, the variety of the local artists we have here in the community.
So I'm wondering if somebody hasn't been there before and they came to the gallery, would they be able to purchase work?
So it's an interesting hybrid. So unlike a museum, we do not have a collection. Mm-hmm. So it's a blessing and a curse in a way. It's a blessing because we don't, the funds that I raise are not necessarily for the upkeep or the preservation of the collection. And because nonprofits are allowed to benefit from activities that benefit their organization, we are allowed to sell work, and we actually promote, because our mission is to promote artists and promote local artists. We offer those works for sale. And much like a commercial gallery, which is the opposite of a nonprofit, we do a commission split. So we do the marketing, and we, you know, have the wonderful displays, and we connect artists to people that want to buy. We teach people about art, so perhaps they're interested in buying, beginning collectors. We have things on we have a sales page on our website, all promoting local artists. We get to do that. We do a commission split. Sometimes it's 60-40 in the artist's favor, which is pretty much industry standard. Sometimes it's 50-50, and sometimes actually artists donate work for us to then sell to benefit the organization. And that is done once a year at our annual art auction. And, you know, we try to engage and educate the public about what it's like to figure out what you like. Is it black and white photography? Is it, you know, landscape paintings? And we figure we do that all year long, and then we invite them to come to this big fundraising party and buy art. And you can bid on art in a live auction. You can bid on it in a silent auction, either on your phone or written. And it's a blast. And even if you're not so sure about buying art, it's so much fun to watch and to look at 100 works of art in a room all at once. It's a large income stream for us. And here's the kicker. I've been with the organization for 9 years, and the auction has gone on annually for, I think we're in 28 years. Every year we sell 100 works of art at least. So 28 years, 100 works of art locally. Do you know what that means in Dayton? That means that we really value original art, because all those are in people's homes. They're in artists' homes. They're in, you know, donors' homes. I'm sure they're in your home, Mike. I mean, it's just become a big part of the community, and that's a lot of artwork that people live with by local artists. So we're really proud of that. Oh, I lost your audio. Okay.
Okay.
Ah, there you are.
Okay. Sometimes there's a little problem technically. Like I said, we go with whatever we've got going here. Dead Mike, but it does say something to me about the community.
Mm-hmm.
It really does say something about Dayton and its arts environment.
Yeah, I like to think that, I mean, well, not I think, I know that Dayton has long championed the arts. I mean, when we had the great big NCR and Meade in those days, and that was before my time, there was a sort of a corporate culture, or a culture that was very rich in those companies in supporting art. And Culture Works has sort of, I won't say taken that place, but sort of put on that mantle of engaging folks like the county and businesses, etc., to continue that tradition of the arts in this community is something that makes it really special. It makes it distinct, makes it stand out from other cities of its size. So I've lived in bigger cities. Previously, I was the curator and head of exhibitions and education at the Austin Museum of Art, which is now called the Contemporary Austin. And then before that in Miami, Florida, where I grew up, at the Miami Art Museum, which is also now, because somebody endowed it, the Perez Art Museum, Miami. So my background is in larger organizations that presented a lot of traveling shows and didn't really have a connection to the local artists as much. You know, city museums, large museums are very important in a community because they teach, they preserve, but smaller organizations like ours, and there are many organizations like ours throughout the country, really focus in on being part of the community, a resource for the artists that move back here or that just graduate and are sort of finding their footing. How can they learn new skills? How can they market their work? How can they get into exhibitions? We fill that role. And in other cities, there are organizations like us, but Dayton is really special in that for so long, it has shown it has proven with its with its money and care and support that it values artists. So that's what really makes me love Dayton and love my job.
What's happening right now in the middle of this? It's actually a question I haven't asked a lot of artists, but you're obviously connected to so many different artists. What's life like right now? We're talking in the middle of this pandemic, and what's it like right now?
Well, you know, there's two sides to that. It's tough because we're trying to figure out how to pay the bills. Because of the pandemic, funds have either been diverted to social service, very worthy causes. The market has changed, so a lot of our bigger donors are not in the position to give like they have. The great big fundraiser that I said that we do every year, we've postponed it and we may have to cancel it. So that's a lot of that's almost $100,000 income that we get every year. That is probably not going to happen. So, you know, I believe to be a good leader, and I try to be, I've got to find all sorts of ways to trim and also keep us in the public eye to show that we're relevant and important. So that's a bit of programming, that's talking to donors, that sort of thing. But the second part is it really shows what creativity and resilience and vision that artists have and in them and as part of them already or all the time. You know, artists are right now creating artwork or being part of demonstrations or being part of volunteer groups to lend their specialty to all sorts of things that are going on. They're problem solvers. Artists are problem solvers. But artists, visual artists, dancers, writers, etc. I mean, the reason why they're artists and they are so special, and I am not one. I support them, but I am not a maker myself. The reason why they are so special, and I've made it my job for about 30 years to take care of them and promote them, is they have the ability to communicate things that we just can't put words to. I mean, I think during COVID, I mean, I can name 15 things or emotions or conflicts that went through my own life, and I'm sure you can too. I mean, fear, you know, loneliness, confusion, you know, loss of control, sadness, grief, all of those things. The ability for artists to articulate those things when we can't. See, I'm even having trouble myself. I'm having to use my hands. Is something that, you know, throughout history has, you know, given like a mirror or a window into ourselves or our humanity. And that's what artists can do so special. I mean, think of your favorite work of music or a scene in a film or an artwork that you've seen. I mean, artists just have the unique ability to be able to do that. And so during COVID, it's incredibly important. And one of the things that we're doing actually, and I know I'm going on, but let me just do this one thing.
Please do.
So we're commissioning a group of photographers in the community to focus on life during these times, domestic life, daily lives, like individual lives. And we're actually working with the Dayton Daily News, and we're going to publish an insert of these beautiful, quiet or grief-filled, but these very human photographs of recording our time this summer, or however we end up in history calling this time. And it'll be free and accessible for everyone. It'll be in the paper, plus it'll be free and accessible. We'll have it on our website. But again, I really wanted for artists to give artists an opportunity to be part of recording all of the life emotions or the way we're impacted in life, and give them a forum. So I'm excited to think that somebody that's never been to a museum or never been to the gallery or doesn't even know they would be interested in art, were to pick up that paper and just kind of see things that were reflected in their own life in a beautiful or poignant or like a dialogue, a way to start a dialogue way.
I'm wondering, there's three things that have popped into my head as I'm listening. Because you have, having worked in the arts myself for so many years, you have an arts leader's mind. You have that big picture. And so I've got some questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if in the middle of all this, if a young artist comes to you, what do you say to them? I mean, because they're like, because you just described, I'm not going to repeat it all, but all that we all go through. What do you say to a young artist that comes to you right now for advice? And they go, Eva, help.
Advice on being part of the arts community, the art world, or advice? Well, okay, I'll do it all.
Yeah.
So it's funny that you said about having an arts leader mind. I always say that's all I have room for. That's why I can't make art. I can't. So very often, because we are Dayton, Ohio, there's a lot of different types of artists that we have. We have in our community, and I would say in the region or in the Miami Valley, sort of the whole, there's probably 3,000 people that make arts, either like a Sunday painter sort of thing, or just kind of, or a crafter, all the way up to somebody that is formally trained and has exhibitions in Columbus or Chicago or New York, and I don't know, has catalogs published. So we run the gamut. And we hold ourselves responsible to know, about that gambit, so we can talk to, the mayor or the chamber or a grantor or whatever, to keep them abreast with everything that's going on. So a new artist, many times we have artists that have maybe grew up here, moved away, maybe raised a family, maybe went to schools, coming back to be with their parents, coming back because of the quality of life. There's a lot of artists. So they're sort of, they would seem like they're mid-career or they're my age-ish, but they're not so much. Maybe they hadn't made art since college or high school or even after that. So we consider that a new artist. Many times there are, students that have just graduated, perhaps a BFA program, or perhaps from high school, or not even a BFA program, and they are interested in art and they're making art, and they can be a new artist. Then there is somebody that's much older that has never picked up a pen or a clay or sung or whatever, and they're a new artist. So new artists aren't necessarily young. They can be any age. So it's easy to as an artist, it's easy to wrap your arms around Dayton for a number of reasons. Places like our organization, the Contemporary Dayton, places like the Dayton Art Institute with a world-class collection and exhibitions, smaller community art centers, K-12 and Tejas, Rosewood Art Center, small professional groups, a Watercolor Society, Dayton Society of Artists, small galleries or shops that have, we don't have a huge gallery scene, but shops that have local handmade work. And I'm leaning a bit towards the visual arts because that's my background. What I say is, what do you want to do? And it could be a variety. I want to make art. I want to make money from my art. I want to show. I want to get better. I want to learn and lean on like-minded people. Like-minded people, hang out at our shows, go to Front Street Studios, go to an opening at Rosewood, go over to an opening at DAI, walk through the galleries with 3 people at DAI. The Springfield Art Museum is not very far away and is a beautiful museum. So first I say, get the lay of the land. Then the next thing I say, and this is really specific, every summer, many of our organizations present open exhibitions or open members shows. Springfield, Rosewood, our organization, Dayton Society of Artists, every summer they do this open member show. So there is a lot of overlap. So there's overlap in artists that apply for different, all of them. But what I say to an artist is, I say, get your work together, get your best work, make new work, frame it or present it beautifully. I mean, look at how these organizations treat work. We're very contemporary, it's done very professionally. Get it together, get a group of works together. Even if you work all year on creating 5 really beautiful photographs, ceramic pieces, jewelry, whatever, and apply to all of them at once. Many of them are open, meaning everybody gets to be in. Some of them are juried, which is a level of critique that, well, frankly, in life, there's a lot of critique, but, that is part of, exhibiting. And then go to all, and you'll probably get in, and if, you'll get into some, go to all of those openings. And the reason why openings are important is there's the crowd of like-minded people all around you. If you're a ceramicist, here are the 16 ceramicists in the community, and 7 of them sort of make work like you. 2 of them are people that you want to know because they're exemplary and you want to look up to them. A couple of them are much newer and you can kind of gauge yourself within them. And they become your tribe. And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. And then they break off and they have coffee together, or in COVID, they do Zoom calls together. They say, hey, there's this ceramic exhibition in Indianapolis. I think you should apply, . So membership is affordable. It's a bit of an investment. Some organizations, you don't have to be a member to exhibit. And so exhibiting opens avenues for artists of many things: sales, recognition by collectors or curators, and the public, and your friends and your family. It also, it's not like it's sort of like a challenge. It's like, if I, I want to be an artist, let me put myself up to see the merits of my work and for it to be judged. Many artists never exhibit, and they make art because they love to make art. And that's cool too. And they're members of this organization too, because every once in a while they'll come to a workshop, or, right now we're doing these artist Zoom calls. And then when an artist comes to me and says, well, I want to sell my work, that's the main thing. They still have to go, through the avenues in a way. It doesn't happen often like it does in movies, like somebody knocks on your door and discovers you and, spends $1 million and, sends you off to Paris and all that. It doesn't happen like that.
It doesn't? So, Eva, tell me, let's say I'm not an artist, but I'm a buyer. I'm one who, I really love art, and I really haven't talked about it with anybody. And I know I don't know anything, because you know these people. You know exactly who I'm describing.
Yeah.
I want to be a part of it. I'd love to collect, but I'm afraid, and I don't want to look stupid. And so what do you have to say to me?
Well, none of this is scary. I mean, first of all, behind you are bookshelves of books, right? So somehow you have figured out the books you like that you have bought, and you've probably changed over the years, as we all have, or your tastes have changed. There's probably a mix of, how do I say, like flashy popular things, and then also maybe very esoteric things. There's things maybe somebody recommended that you loved and it made you closer to them. And there's things that you're like, why do I still have this on my bookshelf? So don't let, collecting, I always say, don't let collecting art be this big scary thing. It's sometimes your tastes change, just like fashions change, that sort of thing. So So sometimes I say, don't even use the word collector. You know, if you know, you've heard the term, if it speaks to you, if you enjoy the colors and you think you would enjoy looking at them every day in your living room or wherever, or you think this is because this is a landscape in Ireland with these certain flowers, you know, your aunt will love it because she's from there. All of those reasons are reasons. Oh, and say you came to the gallery to an opening and you started talking to somebody and it turns out it was an artist that made something in the room and you really hit it off with them. And you were sort of interested in their work, but it was really a meaningful connection that you had. And then maybe you followed them on Instagram or this sort of thing, and you began to really like their point of view. And then you decide to perhaps buy or follow them, just like you follow a musician or a writer, that sort of thing. So I would say, just like with the artists, go to those members shows that happen in the summer. And the reason why is, very often exhibitions are 1, 2, 3, 5 artists at the most. But when you go to a member show, there's 100 works of art on the wall. And you can use that to kind of test your eye. What am I drawn to? You know, why do I like these black and white landscape photographs? Well, you know, I saw that graffiti artist at whatever at a coffee shop, and look, this looks like her work. I really figured out that I love you know, colorful portraits. So you can kind of like test your eye. And then of course you look at the price points and you kind of say, okay, you know, what is this worth to me? What is the value? Everything that is priced as far as art is based on what we call a fair market value. And with my background, I'm permitted to assess work. I'm actually going to be licensed as an appraiser soon, so whatever, I can have the certificate. So when things are priced, what that means is they are priced for the market. So that's a little bit about being in Dayton in the Midwest in, you know, 2020. Yeah. It's also about the artist's background and accomplishments. And it's also the level of technical ability or expertise that the artist has with the medium. All that together becomes the price. So if it's $150 and, you know, somebody can say, oh my, you know, you've heard my child can do that, that sort of thing. It is priced at $150 because that is the fair market value. It's all of those things added up. And when you see something in a gallery, or when you see a work of art in a place that sells works of art, because of course you see art, you know, in museums and that sort of thing, places that don't sell it. It is likely that there is a split that goes to the artist and goes to the organization. Now, when an artist is just selling work from their website, they still have to keep that fair market value. It's almost like the difference between a retail price and a wholesale price. So what I'm getting at is that fair market value does not change if you're buying it directly from the artist or in the gallery, meaning ethically, you're not going to pay more if it's in the gallery or not. The fair market value is the fair market value. So, you know, you think of, do I want to have this for a long time? Will it speak to me for a long time? You know, how much value is it? Maybe I'll only like it for 2 or 3 years, and then I'll give it to somebody, or I'll find a different place in my home for it, or I'll sell it, you know, if I don't like it. But many times, if you're going to spend money and you spend that much time like learning what you like and looking and buying a piece of work, you're going to have it for a while.
So, and that's something that being a part of the Contemporary, I can learn?
Yes. So you can learn that we have workshops, we have all the artists that exhibit always do gallery talks, so you can meet them. This is the great thing. Living artists that live in our community that you maybe run into at the grocery store, or at the Levitt Pavilion, or even walking around DAI. These are living, working artists. They are part of our community. So they are at the event. So you can talk to them. You can talk to me. I do, right now I'm doing Zoom calls. There's workshops. A couple of years ago, we did one called Art Fitness Training. There's videos. Our website is chock full of ways to learn.
Right.
But you can also just do it from what I just told you. So everybody out there that watches this video, they, just find out what you like.
Yeah. So one of the things that I work on throughout the year, lots of different projects, but one of the things I work on is helping the county with the county workplace giving campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm really proud of what they've done over the years. County employees last year donated, employees, not tax dollars, employees donated nearly $30,000 out of their pockets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really impressed with that. And a lot of that has been just being able to let them know why. Let them know what it is. Let them know the benefits for themselves and the benefits for their family members. I mean, buy one, get one free tickets to all kinds of events and memberships and things. I tell people I have taken my children, my grandchildren to things. To be honest, I don't know if I would have taken them to quite so many, because now it's a way that I can afford it. I mean, it's just so easy that way. So my last question on that subject, anyhow, is, so what do you say to the donor, to the potential person out there? Why should I give to the arts right now? Why should I give to CultureWorks right now?
Sure. Well, CultureWorks and the community helps us remain free and open 6 days a week, days and evenings, allows us to help artists get to the next level in their career, which usually means when there's an organization like ours in the community, it makes them, to be frank, want to stay in the community because they have access to things that they might not in other communities, like knowledge that we and the staff here bring to help artists. Again, find that class that will help them with their skills. Teach them how to apply for the county grant. Teach them how to build the website, so they become important economic participants in the community. So it's sort of like you're investing into the community. And plus, we show beautiful work. We show the talent and the abilities of quite a high level of artists in our community, and it often blows people away. And we're very locally focused, like I said. So it's about the pride of our community. And you wouldn't believe some of the artists that we work with. They are, every day I hear somebody say, "Oh, I didn't know so-and-so was such a great artist." Terry Welker works for the city of Kettering. He's an architect. He is an amazing artist. He did this actually mobile that's behind me. So it's almost like CultureWorks and the county and the donors that are investing in, they don't even know the trickle down or the depth that they give. And so we're always trying to show that it does have a lot of depth and a lot of meaning. And I want to thank you to the donors, because it is the reason why we are going to open our member show on July 15th with social distancing. And we are going to do the newspaper project of COVID, which I think is meaningful for the whole community, and more.
That's great. Wow. Thank you so much. I have,
it's a pleasure.
Yeah, this has been great. So, and next time it won't have to be over Zoom. We'll be able to make a connection in another way. For everyone watching, if you want to know more about CultureWorks, go to the website, cultureworks.org. If you want to know more about the Contemporary, Eva, the website?
The Contemporary Dayton, it's thecontemporarydayton.org. And you can visit us with a mask right now. It's we're on Jefferson, downtown, between 1st and 2nd, the Contemporary Dayton. And take a look at our website. We've got a lot of fun stuff on the website.
That's great. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody watching. Please support CultureWorks because it supports all of the artists that we're talking to and these arts organizations. Until next time, thank you so much. I'm really glad you took the time for us today.
Happy to. Thank you.
All right, we'll see you.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.